everybody, welcome to the Hacienda. Rivet here. Excuse me. Today we are going to make French bistro beef. It's a delicious recipe from France, obviously, served in bistros all over the country, and it is frankly simple and outstanding. What we got here, some thyme, shallot. I have here 3 pounds of top round roast. You can use any kind of good braising beef you want. I prefer top round over bottom round. One, because it is more tender, and two, it tastes better, believe it or not. Anyway, and we need some good Bordeaux wine. We got some Dijon mustard here. Now, yes, we are going to utilize Margaux. And those of you in the know are going to say, John, why are you using Margaux in this recipe? Well, I firmly grew up believing what Julia Child always said: if you ain't going to drink it, don't cook with it. And Margaux is probably the #1 or #2 favorite wines of Mrs. Rivet and myself. And it is absolutely delicious, world renowned. Any Margaux, from a $40 bottle to a $400 bottle, is absolutely mind-blowingly good. So, yeah, I'm going to use Margaux in this recipe. Why? Because it tastes good, and I only need a cup, and we are going to drink the rest with the meal. So let's get cooking. What I've done here is cut the top round into large pieces because they're going to be more impressive on the plate that way. In a skillet over medium-high heat, we've got butter only with no olive oil, because I do want the butter to brown. In bistro beef, that's part of the signature technique, is to get that delicious brownness of the butter to give the flavor to the meat. So now what we're going to do is we're going to add the meat and cook it. And we want it, we're probably going to do it, yeah, in 2 batches. And we want to get that good Maillard reaction going on. You can see how deliciously brown the meat's getting. This is the Maillard reaction, what we're looking for. And at this point, we're going to sprinkle salt and pepper over it. And we're going to continue cooking. Now, this beef isn't going to cook all the way through, because we're going to cook it later. But once we get all the sides browned, we're going to take them off to the side. And we continue browning on all sides. Alright, so after we've done the magic with the beef, we've got this delicious brown butter that has created this fond. It's all caramelized and pretty. That is one of the secrets of bistro beef. So to that, we're going to add a generous tablespoon of Dijon mustard. We got tomato paste. This is 4.5 ounce tube. We're going to add about 2 ounces. This stuff is going to give a richness to the sauce that is going to be incomparable. Okay, and to that, we are going to add the shallots. So let's get that stirred up, and that is going to deglaze the pan. You can see how the pan is starting to get deglazed with this. The shallots are giving off a lot of moisture, and now we're going to add 8¼ ounces of bone broth to help speed up the process. And this is also integral to the flavor of the gravy. So, when I get this done, join me in a bit. Now you can see how the pan is completely white again underneath, because it's totally deglazed, and this is smelling pretty darn good. What we're going to do now is add the beef to that. Okay, so we've added the beef and all its drippings, and now we're going to coat them in this glorious mixture. And let me tell you folks, there is little beef that's better than a top round. not counting steaks, of course. Top Round is a underrated cut in my book. And this is smelling very, very good. Okay, and now that we got that all nicely combined, let's continue on. Okay, so we've had an oops moment. I forgot to turn the camera on when I added 1 cup of beef broth. Okay, so we got the beef broth in there. So now what we're going to do is add this much fresh thyme, which is a pain in the ass to peel the leaves off the stems, I can tell you that much. But it's all worth it at the end. And at the beginning I forgot to show, we're going to add mushrooms in here. So I got these little baby bellas. You can use any kind of mushrooms you want, but mushrooms are always good. And who doesn't like a mushroom? If you don't like mushrooms, hey, you know, you've never had a mushroom that's worthy. Okay, and to that, the crowning achievement, the La Tour de Besson Margaux, Chateau Margaux, okay? And so we're going to add a cup of this deliciousness. Oh, I will call that. That's a little bit more than a cup. Okay, so now we're going to bring this up to a boil. Right, it's coming up to a boil. Now what we're going to do is cover it, turn it down to number 2 to simmer, and join me in 1 hour. Okay, 1 hour in. This is cooking up delightfully. So we're going to set this off to the side. Now here's where everything comes together so beautifully. If y'all remember back a couple weeks, a month, I don't know, it's been so long ago, I can't remember. When I made that beef demi-glace, well, this is the kind of recipe it goes into. Here's that container. We are going to cut it in half and add it in there. Okay, so I'm taking the demi-glace and I'm putting it in there. It was frozen. And I'm going to leave it uncovered, simmering like that until it all melts. I'm going to turn it up to medium. And get it combined. Then we're going to cover it and cook it for another hour. About 20 minutes out from it being ready, we're going to take the lid off. And wow, that kitchen is smelling good. And we're going to take, about half cup of the, that's hot, of the gravy. And we're going to mix it up with 3 tablespoons of flour. Now once we got that mixed in, we're going to add this, and this is going to be our thickener for the gravy. Now we may not add all of it. I'll have to test it by eyeballing it. But you get the idea. And the last time of the cooking period is so it'll cook through. So join me when we serve it. Alright everybody, hope you can see this right. What we have here is some steaming, delicious French bistro beef. But that's not it. We need something more to gussy it up. And here we go. Typically served with French fries, pommes frites, and gussied up with parsley. Man, that smells good. Alright, so how do we start? Very simple to make, obviously, except the beef glace you need to make beforehand. Smells gorgeous. The gravy is so rich. We got the mushrooms. Let's try a mushroom first. And the gravy. Just a bistro is a simple home style restaurant in France, and they just serve good simple food. And I believe that this is a perfect example of bistro eating. That gravy is so beefy and rich, and of course a reason for that is that beef glace. You can make this without beef glace, or glace, demi-glace rather, but I don't think it'll be the same. I'm a firm believer of demi-glace. It is delightful. Well, what's the gravy taste like? Well, let me dredge a potato in there, because who doesn't like French fries? Oh, that is so hot and so good. Let me say this about that. Putting that Margaux in there, 10 out of 10. I've made this with different kinds of wines. They're all good, but let me tell you, when you use a great wine that you really, really like, can't beat it. Very, very good stuff. Alright, so let's try the meat. Okay, you can see how it holds firm. That's why you need a good braising piece of meat rather than a steak, because you don't want it to fall apart. But look how pullable it is after the 2 hours of cooking. It's a good piece of meat. And I can't say enough about a top round roast. Of all roasts, I think top round is my favorite. So if you want to try something new, go out to your grocery store and look for a top round and cook it. And tell me if I'm wrong. Alright, so let's try this. Beefy, tender, meaty, delicious. I think it needs more parsley. I think parsley counterbalances beef very well. And that's why the French always gussy up their beef with parsley. That's really, really good. Okay, so overall, 10 out of 10. Highly recommended. Glad you watched. Hope you make it. And this recipe is a catalyst for my January giveaway. So, comment, like, and subscribe. Gotta have a comment on this recipe, and you will be in like Flynn for my January giveaway. So folks, thanks for watching. You all take care.